Hello and welcome, and God bless you. This one is on God and people who claim to be of God. Personally, my faith has really struggled. It struggled before I was homeless. I said a prayer. I asked God for like super strong faith, not like really thinking that one through. Like, when you want to be really strong, you have to go through a lot. I just recently saw a picture of Arnold Schwarzenegger like lifting, and it was like oh, such a face of strain and struggle. And it's just like, oh, and I've like time and again been like, yo, God, like, that prayer, I want to take that off the table. Like, if I just like make it through this world with faith, that's all that matters. I don't have to have like strong faith. I just need to have just a hair of faith. But so far he won't take that off the table at all. So it's been hard, especially being in a vehicle, I can't lay down. It's just can't lay down like normal, like flat. There's been years, a good chunk of years, where all I can pray is help me in my unbelief and my absolute hatred to you, because I don't see how you're good, and I don't see how you're love, and I don't see how you're almighty. Like, what are you doing? Like, I'm really pissed off. Like, this is too hard, too long. I've had too much stripped from me. I mean, I've had whatever is important. The most sacred things have been stripped from me. I have lost everything. I've had just everything taken from me. But it's like, where are you in this? And it's really easy to claim God when things are going great or things are going decent. It's easy when you can, in short order, see like, aha, that's what he was doing. I had that when I first got sick. Within 5 years, I wound up going to college, which I would have never, ever gone to. There's no way I would have ever lived in that town any other way. And the roommate situation imploded, which led me to living with a family from the church I attended in that town. And it wasn't perfect, but there was good things that came. There was things I needed to see that I hadn't seen before, and it wound up being a big blessing. Overall, it was a blessing. And it was interesting because I finished my degree and I moved away, and in just over a year of me leaving, the most important people in my world, they either had died or moved away. Like, it was just amazing to look back and see how several things had come about right before I got there, and poof, in just over a year, everything dissipated. It's like meant to be, and it's really easy to believe in God in those times. But I guess that's where true belief and faith comes in. It's like, where do you stand? Can you stand with Job and everything stripped of you? Can you truly say, the Lord has taken and the Lord has given, praise his name? I pray I can do that at the end of my life. No matter how thin my faith is, I pray I can stand with Job. And this has been a struggle. On good days, I can, pray for the blessing for the day and over me, and pray for everyone I know and everyone I don't know, that the Lord would be with just everyone in the world, because we definitely need him. But it's been a struggle. Like I said, I've spent years where I just really, all I can say is help me in my unbelief. Far East religions, they tend to believe that if bad is happening to you, you've obviously done something bad, and they can't help you, because if they do, then they're interfering with God's punishment to you, which you have brought on yourself. I know one guy who identifies, who's very vocal. He identifies with Far East faith, and he's very vocal, and like, I've obviously done something bad. And I know the one day it's like, what was it? Was it that I made like scrap quilts and gave them away? Was it that I've donated like 45 inches of my hair to like people with no hair? Is it, me like going and visiting the elderly in homes? Like, please tell me. Or is it when people are being nasty and I'm like, no, that's not okay. Like, no, you're not. No, that's like not happening if I'm around. Like, please tell me, like, what evil have I committed? And then he like brought in the whole multiple lies. It's like, well, I'm not saying you're a bad person, but obviously you were a very evil, very rich person in your former life. So he like, basically every time I see him, he needs to remind me that in my former life I truly sucked. And it's just like, that's seriously not helping at all. Like, I'm dealing with enough Now, Steph, I don't need you telling me that how much I suck. And being that you're leading a life, I mean, he admits that his life has been rowdy and yet he's still blessed. It's like your own life. It testifies to the fact that things don't always add up in this world. And I just remember, what is it in the Bible? The blind man, you know, they came to Jesus. Who sinned? You know, his parents or him? Like, obviously someone sinned. And Jesus was like, no one sinned. This was for the glory of God. Which is really important to keep in mind. It's important to keep the saints' lives in mind because they really struggled. How is it? Holiness comes to those who struggle, which is really hard when you're in the depths of the valley and the darkness. But yeah, as for churches, that's been a disappointing experience, whether I've been homeless or not. It's single women are not welcomed in churches, that's for sure. No matter what your status in life is, you're just not welcomed. Which is really sad because there is no mandate that you have to marry. And while it is common and the typical thing, not everyone is necessarily called. There's a few that just don't marry. And I've seen two things. They either like go after the single woman and they're like responsible for everything and they guilt trip them like, well, you don't have a husband, you don't have kids. It's like, you chose to get married and, you know, kids are part of that. Like, take responsibility for something. Like, goodness gracious. I've like between, you know, paying taxes into like public schools and the one church I was part of, like your regular, like no one paid. They had a school. It's a private school. And like, you know, I like, again, my donations went, like the parents didn't have to put any money in to the education. It just came out of the general fund. And it's like, for the love of God, I wish parents would just take care of their kids for once. Or else the other flip side is just you're not welcome. They just give you a cold shoulder. Like, if they're single, they'll be friends with you until they get married. They get the gift and they want nothing to do with you. If you do happen to become friends with a married couple, they're friends with you until the first baby. They get the shower gift and then they like don't talk to you after that. And women tend to think you're after their husband, and it's like, I'm not after your husband. And at least from what I know and the people I've talked to, it's like time and again, it's like married couples cheating with other married couples. I have yet to know a man to leave his wife for a single woman. I have heard time and again married men leaving their wives for married women, other married women. But it's whether they're Christians or not. It's like typically married people cheat with married people. So like, just leave me out of the mix. I know one guy, he's like, well, women really only have their husbands. They like, women don't have friends. They lose their husbands and they don't have anyone. So yeah, they're jealous psycho for a reason. But it's frustrating. It's like, it just is. And as for the homeless, like if you don't want to help a person, like just straight out, just be who you are. Like, don't say you're gonna help and then like leave the person hanging. And I've had that multiple times where they'll like come to me, it's like, hey, like we'll help you, and it's like, that would be great, and then they just change their mind and don't let me know and just like leave me completely hanging. It's like, really? Or is this in the name of God? Is this like the love of Jesus? Because, you know, stabbing me in the back, just, that's not love. And it's, I sort of became a part of this cult thing up north. That was alarming. Just the way the men treated the women. They were just nothing more than children. The women had absolutely no say of anything. They couldn't even really talk. Like, and they weren't even like looking to take over the conversation. If they just like sort of, you know, it's their family and their life. And, you know, it's like, you know, they just sort of was adding their view and they would just get screamed at. They just had to ask permission for everything, including using the telephone or making a run to like town. It was just crazy. I mean, the one gal, she came and picked me up and I was living a town away. And she hadn't driven that far, which was like 10 miles away by herself in like 8 years or more. That was the first time her husband gave her permission to be like alone for that amount of time. I'm just like, say what? But it was just heartening the way I'm just amazed at the teachings in the Bible, how we are co-heirs, and we were taken from their side. Women are taken from man's rib cage, not his foot. Like, yes, you're the head, but no, I'm not. I'm not the gravel under your feet. Like, what? It's just disappointing. As far as homelessness, like I said, groups will say they help and they don't, or else it's like one thing after another. Well, if you do this, if you do that, well, now you need to do this. And it was a pistol, one church I attended for a while. It's always one thing after another. Well, if you'd only, well, you need a, and it was just, oh. And yet some Latino lady came off the street and asked for money, and like right away, they like just gave her money. It's like, really? Like, you have me jumping through multiple hoops, and they still never did. They never did have my back. They said they would help me with something I needed, and they just left me hanging. And it's like, really, you're wasting what little energy I have and my gas money and my gas. Like, this is just absolute. It's not kind. I'm just always amazed at how it's like, oh, we're helping these people. It's like, and yeah, if you come face to face with them, they're like, want nothing to do with you. I mean, just to even to use the bathroom. The last time I did attend a church, there was a woman in the bathroom, and she was just like, what are you doing here? It's like, using the restroom before I go into church. And she's very much, well, we need to know who's in here, because then we have to let other people know. And it's like, really, you can't let homeless people like use the bathroom. It's just, I mean, I wasn't brushing my teeth, I wasn't washing my face, I just had to use the restroom, and even that was a crisis. It's just, the lack of compassion is alarming, especially in SoCal, where you do have a lot of homeless people, and I've heard it from other homeless people. They want absolutely nothing to do with Christians whatsoever, because it's always, you suck, and you obviously suck. So if you would just, do everything we say and jump through all these hoops, then we might help you. Which is just alarming, because Jesus did come when we were still enemies of God. He made us right with God when we didn't even want to be made right. And yeah, he didn't put 10,000 hoops in front of us. He first helped us. And I don't see that through the church really much. But yeah, so it's been overall disheartening and frustrating. But prayerfully, I can end this journey with faith intact. And prayerfully, a lot of you can too. So, but it's just, I don't know. It's really been disheartening how the church treats people. I even called this one, they advertised that they had a homeless out group, and the woman was just flipped out on me about how she had her own problems and she didn't need to deal with any of my crap. And I was just like, say what? It's like, you're advertising this, I'm just wondering what you offer, because I need help in 2 areas. And she just told me to go to the government. It's like, bite me. But then it's like, you have the mandate of the church to help those in need. But anywho, I'm gonna go. God bless you and keep you. Bye.